Today's lesson is about slope and direct variation. It is Student Learner Expectation SEI .2.A1.6. First, let's talk a little bit about what is direct variation. Well, direct variation is described in the form of the equation y equals kx, where k is not equal to 0. Now, how we say this is y varies directly with x, where k is the constant of variation. So an example of that would be like y equals 3x. We would simply say, well, k equals 3, which means 3 is the constant of variation for that equation. Now, some other ones of y'all are going, well, yeah, where it is, that's the slope, right? And that's exactly right. So y equals kx, k is the slope. So let's do an example. Let's say we have some savings. So X is the number of weeks that we've had the savings account, and Y is the number of dollars that we have in the savings account. So let's graph it and kind of see what's going on. So on our X-axis is our number of weeks, and on our Y-axis is the dollar, the amount of money that we have in the account. Well, weeks needs to go by 1 units, and dollars need to go by, well, 5s, because we save $5 every week. So now what we're going to do is we're going to plot all the points of all the values that we were given. So if we plot all the points, well, we start to notice something. It looks just like a straight line, and indeed that's exactly what's going on. So let's find the equation that describes this. Well, like I said before, k is that constant of variation. Well, it's also the slope. So let's find the slope of this one. What I like to do is draw a little triangle. And if I do that, then I go, okay, well, how much are we going up by? Well, every one of those units on this one is by 5. So we go up 5. And if we go over, well, 2 to 3 is, well, plus 1. So the slope is the rise over the run. And the rise on this one is 5. The run is 1. So the slope is 5. Well, that tells me my value of k. So y equals kx is my equation, and in place of k, we put 5. So y equals 5x describes this equation. Now let's look at this one. This time I'm not going to give you a scenario. I'm just going to give you the equation. And I'm going to say, okay, write the y equals kx equation of this. Now, here's one thing some of you are hopefully thinking about. You are going, okay, well, the equation is y equals mx plus b. That's exactly right. But the y-intercept on all of these is 0. So to be a direct variation equation, y equals kx, the y-intercept must be 0. Well, what we're going to do this time to write the equation is pick some points. So I'm going to label a whole bunch of points, but I'm only going to use 2 of them. So the points I'm going to use are, well, let's use 0, 0, the origin, and let's use 6, 3. Okay? So let's find the slope, because k is the slope. Well, how do you find the slope? Well, the slope is the difference of the y's over the difference of the x's. Or in this case, remember, in ordered pairs, the first value is the value of x, the second value is the value of y. So if we plug these ordered pairs into the slope equation, we could get 3 minus 0 over 6 minus 0. Well, that simplifies to just 3 divided by 6, and that simplifies to 1/2. So that is our constant of variation. Our k value on this one is 1/2, which means our equation y equals kx can be rewritten as y equals 1/2 x. That is the equation that describes that line. Let's do one more example of these. So what we're going to do again is plot some points. Okay, so I picked some points where it looked like it goes through the crosshairs. Now we just need to pick 2 of those points in order to write that slope, okay, that value of k. So the points I'm going to use this time, if I can use the origin, I'm going to. And on all the y equal kx, again, the y-intercept is 0. So 0, 0 will always be one of those points. The other point we're going to use this time, why don't we use like 2, negative 6? So now we're ready to find that slope. Well, to find the slope, I drew a little triangle to make sure you understood what was going on. And the slope is the difference of the y's over the difference of the x's. Or in this case, negative 6 minus 0 over 2 minus 0. Well, that simplifies to just negative 6 divided by 2. But 6 divided by 2, well, that goes evenly. So let's write it. That is just -3. So the constant of variation is -3, which means our equation y equals kx, in place of k, we put -3. So y equals -3x describes this equation. This is how you find an equation y equals kx of any equation that goes through the origin. In other words, on all of these direct variation, the y-intercept is 0.